Hello everyone! So today I'm gonna go over books I read based only on the cover. I didn't read the summary, I didn't read a page, I didn't do anything. I was just like, you know what? This looks good, this looks interesting, let's go with it. So the first one is King of Wrath. And I actually bought it because I thought it was gonna be something like Red Queen because the covers are fairly similar, like similar vibes. So I thought, okay, this is gonna be like romantasy, this is gonna be like, you know, like fantasy, maybe some action in there. But it was completely different from what I thought. It was still romance, but it was more like billionaire arranged marriage type of trope, basically. It was pretty good actually. I actually bought the second book in that series. I think it's called King of Pride. Yeah, I think it's King of Pride. I literally have it in my TBR. I would give it like, I feel like I'm very critical in my reviews, but I would give it, I'm gonna be nice, I'm gonna give it 4.5 out of 5. Mainly because the trope isn't my favorite. But it's pretty good, well written, interesting. So yeah, if you want a new series to start with that one. Okay, the second one I read based off of just the cover. I actually bought this on kind of like a whim, like kind of like a impulse buy type of thing, because it was like buy one get one 50% off, something like this. And I was like, okay, so this is the cover. I think you can see why I chose it. So first of all, the title's pretty good, Just Haven't Met You Yet. I'm like, okay, this is romance, like this is more of like you know, someone who's been looking for love for a while. That's what I thought initially when I saw the cover. And I love that they have suitcases. So I was like, okay, maybe this is something related to traveling and meeting people. So I was like, you know what, that's good enough for me, and I bought it. And it turns out there is some traveling, but only, I think only in the beginning. And then the suitcase is like a pretty big part of the story. And I thought it was like an interesting book because it's not your usual trope of like, you know, billionaire or high school or college or all this stuff that you see again and again. It's more interesting, like the main character, so her job is kind of related to like couples and interviewing them, and so she's around this all the time, but she doesn't have like a partner herself. She goes to this place for an assignment at work, and there's an incident with a suitcase. I don't want to spoil it too much, but there's an incident with a suitcase. And you know, she meets a man or two, but throughout the book she's also discovering like things about her family, because her family used to live there, or I think her mom like traveled there as well. Yeah, I don't want to give too much away, but it's very interesting because you get the romance story that's pretty like cute, like it's not too intense or anything. I think it's like a pretty cute story. And then you get also like her learning more about her family and kind of like learning more about herself in the process. So it's like a very nice read. I would give this a 3.5 out of 5 because yes, I love that the story was a bit different. I laughed a few times, but overall 3.5. Like, I feel like in a few years, I won't remember the name of this book, or I won't bring it up to other people. And so it wasn't like that memorable, but it's a good read. So 3.5. 3.5, maybe 4, for being generous. Okay. And the next one, I have it right here. The next one is Hello Beautiful. Yeah, I mean, look at this cover. Look at this cover. Isn't this gorgeous? And I didn't really understand why this was the cover, because I was like, the main characters are not very, like, the two main characters that I see here, the two main like female characters, are not very like artsy, so I'm not sure what this is about. But once you get towards the end, you're like, oh, okay. And as you can tell by the like book tabs, I really enjoyed this book. I feel like because it's like a novel, there's a lot more to like learn from it. I know this kind of, I don't know if that's true for everyone, but I feel like because it's a novel and because it's like a bit longer than your usual story, It's a bit more in-depth into the characters, and I feel like we learn more about them and we learn more in general. I don't know. It's very interesting. It's kind of like a modern Little Women. And if you enjoy Little Women, I think you'll enjoy this one. And I don't want to give too much away, but it's very dramatic. It's just, it feels kind of slow moving, and then you read something and you're like, hold on, what the hell? Like, what's happening here? So yeah, it definitely like catches you by surprise a few times. And I would say, like, again, it starts off a bit slow with a few, you know, surprises, some plot twists in the middle. But I think that's like on purpose, you know? I feel like they're trying to say, okay, they live a very slow life, but then in life you can also have all this stuff coming to you. I don't know, maybe I'm reading too much into it. But yeah, just fair warning, it starts off a bit slow, so give it a try, give it a chance, and keep reading. And if you hated it, fair, and let me know. Put it in the comments, I don't care. Like, just be like, honestly, I hated it and this is why, and I think that'd be really fun to like talk about. And if you loved it, let me know too, because again, I just kind of like talking about them and seeing what like people thought and how other people see the same thing you did like differently, or you know, if they reacted differently to it, or maybe it wasn't a surprise to you when you read something that surprised me. Anyway, so I think I'm gonna give this one a 4. I liked it overall, I really did. Would I read it again? Maybe not. Look how big this is. I probably won't read this again. But it had a good plot. The character development was definitely there. And yeah, it was just good overall. The reason why it's not 5 is because of that one thing where it's like they do the point of view of a kid and then the kid speaks like an adult. That was like 1 page or 2, like not a big deal, but to me I was like, really? And then the other thing is it was a bit more slow paced, and that's fine because it's like a novel, but I'm a bit impatient when it comes to getting to the point, so I was like, please, let's get to the, you know, to the main part. But overall, pretty good. Yeah, 4 out of 5. So for my next video, I'm thinking I will do something like books to read for the new year, or something like along the lines of that, because every time before the new year I'm like, let me get my life together, let me, you know, set a routine, let me have new habits. Like, I want to, you know, do all the things that I said I was gonna do last year and didn't do. But yeah, I think that would be a really cool like video if I just read like self-improvement books, or maybe even get a journal and like review the journal. I don't know. I'm open to ideas. If you have like something that you want me to read, or some kind of genre of books, or a book that you really loved that you would recommend, then great, put in the comments. I'm always open to like suggestions for like romance, romantasy, I mean even like other genres, because I feel like sometimes I get stuck on romance and then I forget to even look at the other sections of the bookstore. So I'll see you next time.